Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and unfortunately, Neema can't be here with us today. She has a few things going on and she just couldn't find the time, which is alright, it happens. But instead, I brought in a special guest fill in host. He's been on the show before, and when he was on, we spoke about a couple little haunted things, had some fun with that. And now he's back, and this time we're gonna speak about a few little extraterrestrial things. So, everyone, please welcome Mr. Benny Manzo.
Hey guys, how you doing? Happy to be back on.
Alright, so normally this is where I would say something about events happening around the world that are interesting or kind of weird. But this month has just been so hectic. I actually don't have anything to talk about for that little segment. So we're just going to jump right into the main topic, which is just, a little bit of yapping about UFOs and UFOologists and, maybe a few conspiracies here or there. What do you say, Benny? You up for that?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm always, aiming for this type of mess. I like it.
Yeah, this is right up your alley. And
Oh yeah.
but here's the funny thing. Even though he likes it, he doesn't want to get a knock at the door.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Don't think nobody does. That is really scary.
Yeah, so if you don't know what we mean by a knock at your door, just look up some stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
You'll learn what it means real quick. We have to start off with what put the flying saucer and the alien thing, what just made it mainstream for what, over 60 years now? Yeah, over
Yes,
60
like
years
70
now.
years.
60, 70
Yeah.
years?
Yeah, close to 70 years, and this is where, the whole weather balloon thing started too. So yeah, it's close to 70 years now. Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, I am talking about the Roswell UFO incident. Benny, what the heck do you know about that?
Well, from the little that I gathered, I mean, something did happen. Something did crash, and it's close to like 600 witnesses and whatnot. And I mean, a lot of folks. There were, they, you know, at first everybody thought it really happened. I mean, it happened, but then a lot of people were like, okay, so it didn't happen, you know? At first it went mainstream to where it's like, okay, so something really did happen, but then on that same exact day they were like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It didn't happen, you know? So there's something there, you know?
All right, so the Roswell incident, it happened in 1947, and a news report July 8th, 1947, came out, and they announced that they actually caught a flying saucer. Now, what's interesting is about 9 years earlier was the War of the Worlds, the radio show in 1938, and that freaked a lot of people out because they didn't realize it was a fake show and it was just people having some fun, and they thought visitors from another planet or aliens were trying to take over the world. So, fast forward now to 1947, and people are somewhat skeptical after the War of the Worlds incident, but the fact that the government moved in so quickly and they were covering things up left and right, and some people actually reported that extraterrestrials were recovered by the military. What do you think about that though? Like if you're working for the military and you see this crash ship and you get out and you go to it and everything and you see two beings in there that aren't human looking at all. What do you do? How do you keep your calm?
I mean, I seriously wouldn't know, to be honest. I mean, seeing that and just I mean, I would be in complete shock, man. I probably wouldn't be able to sleep for quite a while just thinking about it. Did I really just see this? Did I really just experience this? I mean, all the materials scattered around in mass. I mean, the two life forms that were laying out in mass. I mean, it must have been mind-boggling, But I mean, that's crazy, And just to think, like, no, and the thing was that there were before Roswell happened, within the last few months of the year, there were over 300 sightings. Roswell was just one of them,
Yeah,
before.
well, Roswell is the crash, so
Right,
where evidence
right,
was left behind.
right.
Now, let's say you are military, you do the Roswell thing. How do you keep your mouth shut?
Wow.
Wouldn't you want to scream to the world like, "Oh my God"?
I mean, how would you do it?
Oh,
how
me?
how would you how would yeah how would you handle it? I
Oh,
mean, like,
quite easily, because
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but from what I know now, I know how I'll handle it. You know, I definitely know how.
no,
But
by keeping your mouth shut. No, I didn't see
oh
nothing.
yeah, of
That's
course.
that's how
I
I
didn't
would
see
do it.
anything.
Like, what do you mean you
I
didn't
didn't
see
see
anything? You're
that.
lifting a alien. What are you talking about? This isn't an alien. It's Play-Doh.
Yes, man. It was roadkill or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. But I mean, shoot. I mean, I'll just be quiet, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what you have to do. Or else again you'd get a knock on the door.
oh yeah,
And you're
yeah,
military too? Oh boy.
yeah.
So
Right.
what the Roswell incident did though, it brought in a new era of UFOologists, so to speak, people who are determined to prove that there is such thing as extraterrestrial life.
Right. Well, the thing was, I mean, the guys that handled the incident, the army base, they were in charge of, they weren't just any base. I mean, this base were, the ones that were in, you know, deploying nukes over there, in certain places and whatnot. So I mean, it's kind of weird that it happened, around there, just in that area too. Not to think about it, but I mean, how do you how do you cover it up where it's like you got 600 witnesses, and be like, all right, how do you do that?
You threaten everyone, tell them they're
How,
all, you're going to kill the friends and the family if you say something. That's what you do. You muscle them. You knock at everyone's door.
yeah, this is nuts, man. I mean, this happened close to years. Can you picture that happening right now? Yeah, but it's crazy. It's wow. I'm speechless. Man.
Now, do you think that the Roswell incident had any connection to the Battle of Los Angeles?
With these things, I wouldn't know. I mean, since this is global. It could be. It could be. I think there's maybe more of a connection that um, that certain army base, they were in charge of the nukes and
Yeah.
you know they're the ones that were deploying them and whatnot. And I think there's more of a connection there than to Los Angeles. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, these guys were dropping the nukes. All right, these guys. So I mean, Los Angeles. The Battle of Los Angeles. I mean, maybe. I'm not gonna say no.
For those of you who don't know, the Battle of Los Angeles happened in 1942. It was from February 24th to the 25th, and a UFO was spotted over LA, and at first everyone thought it was an attack on Los Angeles. So they armed the guns, they brought out the Mustangs, and Mustangs being the fighter planes at the time, and they were just trying to go to work on it, and they shined some spotlights and everything, but the UFO vanished. They weren't able to damage it. It disappeared. They don't know what it was. All we know is it was some type of spherical shaped object, and or yeah, a saucer like object rather, not spherical, excuse me. And it it caused at least 5 deaths, but the deaths were they were pretty much our own fault. Unfortunately, it wasn't necessarily the UFOs, but that's neither here nor there. So I was wondering that because it happened 5 years before Roswell, so I was like, I wonder if so. But very interesting stuff. Benny, you actually encountered a UFO yourself.
Right. Right.
You know, you told this story before, but go ahead and tell us again.
Yeah. Yeah. So this happened when I went to go pick up my check. I went to go pick up my check. I was driving to my job site, and probably maybe 2 or 3 stoplights from my job, something caught my like caught my view. I'm like, oh my god! So I just turn up, and I see this rectangular shape in the sky. And I'm like, what the hell? So I stopped. Right, I stopped the car. And I look at this thing. Right, you can see it kind of made like a little maneuver, and as soon as it flipped over on the other side, boom, not there no more. And I'm like, I had to sit there and think about it because I'm kind of skeptical. I mean, I believe in stuff, but I'd rather see it.
Yeah.
And I was, it got me for a minute. I was like, okay, so what was this? And yeah, I mean, I was, freaked out because seeing that in the air and just see it do like a slight turn and then just disappear. I've never seen anything like it ever.
Yeah.
What type of aircraft would do that to where it's like it makes a maneuver and it's out of your eyesight, it's not there. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, man. It just literally happened, though.
It's just one of those things you have to experience firsthand to really grasp hold to. And it's just
Right.
like, okay, did I see what I think I saw? Or what? Did you rub your eyes? Like, what?
No, I was just on the side of the road, and I was like, okay. So,
Yeah, you had to
you know,
pull
after,
over.
yeah, I had to pull over and this, and then I sat there and thought about it. So I'm like, all right, let me just go pick up my check, man. Let's just go pick it up, man. And yeah, that was it, But that really happened. It really did happen. You got to see it, man. You
I've spoken to you about a few people that I know or other interesting folks in the UFO community who claim to have had alien visitations, experiences, stuff like that. As someone from the outside, for the most part, looking in, what do you think about that? Like, speaking to someone who's met an alien or they were taken or something.
I mean, it's really interesting. It's interesting and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy and mess and I mean, shoot, I would I would like to see one day though. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh, be careful what you wish for.
I mean, no, but I mean, just make sure it's peaceful. All right, that is. I don't want to be up there and shit. Be like, oh man, like not bad. But yeah, man, it's interesting, man, and it's crazy. You know, the thing is, like you know, when are we gonna be able to actually, when you know, point blank, I just want to see one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think what you were getting at was when is disclosure going to happen, or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Since you're Catholic, I'll say it like this: when
Right.
will Jesus return?
Well, I mean, I, I literally have no clue.
Exactly, and there's
I
your
literally
answer
have.
for disclosure. It's no freaking clue. So,
Yeah.
it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people they see signs where there aren't any,
Right.
and I can't remember the exact year, but it was a year where a lot of alien movies was coming out, and people are like, "Oh, it's them! They're in Hollywood and stuff, and they're preparing us for disclosure." And I was just like, No, I think aliens are just the in thing for films right now. Because they had like The Fourth Kind and Battlefield Los Angeles and oh man, what was that other one called? It was terrible. Like something with sky lights in the skies or something. I can't remember.
Uh,
It was a terrible movie, and it had something to do with the brain, and it was just so bad. And then and then there was District 9. That one was actually really good. So, people were just they want something so bad they start seeing things where
yeah.
there's nothing.
Exactly.
And that's not just limited to the UFO spectrum. That's with everything in life. When you just want something so bad, you start seeing signs and mess, and it's like, no, man, they didn't. No, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. But speaking of people who have seen UFOs, let's talk about one of my favorite people, John
Right.
Lear.
Mm.
All right, so John Lear has been in the UFO alien discussion for a very long time. And those of you who hear Lear, you might say, oh, that name sounds familiar. Why do I know that name? Well, John Lear's father is the guy who created the Lear jet, and that is basically the jet that celebrities take. It's mostly for private functions, things of that nature. So if you want to go somewhere in style, take a Lear jet. So yeah, he probably has a really nice inheritance. But saying that, he's old as Medusa. So Methuselah, excuse me.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, so I like John Lear, but he's up there in age. John Lear, he was good friends with Bob Lazar, and I don't exactly want to mention Bob Lazar, maybe in a future show, but not this one, because that would be getting deep into stuff, and this is a light show. We don't want to get deep into anything. We're just two idiots speaking right now. So, with John Lear, he's made some crazy claims, and he always says, I don't necessarily have the evidence to back this up. It's just something I believe in personally, and you can agree or disagree. It's fine, not the end of the world. But one of those claims is that, well, look, before I get to it, Benny,
Yes.
okay, so, we're now gearing up to go to Mars and mess for whatever reason, for colonization and stuff, right?
Right.
It's maybe about a 6-month journey, give or take, with our current technology. And the issue is apparently right now it's just a one-way road.
Yeah.
Kind of cool though, being able to go to another planet, possibly terraform it, start some colonies, expand into our solar system. Now, one would think, though, why would you start off going to Mars? Why wouldn't you practice that on the moon or something? I mean, you're closer to the planet. If something goes wrong, you could get rescued. But yet, they're like, nope, we're going full on to Mars. Why is that?
Oh, there's I well, I mean, from what I hear, the moon ain't alone. That's one.
Yeah, and that's what,
That's that's
and
one thing. And then Mars, I mean, I really need to look into it, man. But currently, I mean, Mars, it's with a bit of work, we may be able to pull it off.
yeah,
A lot of work,
yeah.
a lot of work.
But you just
But
said that you heard that apparently, the moon has previous
yeah,
owners, so to speak, and that's
oh
what,
yeah, so they got some folks up there, man.
yeah, that's what John
They got
Lear also believes, and he said that the Apollo mission stopped not because we got bored or couldn't learn anything. It's because we went up there, we saw things we weren't supposed to see, and we were told don't come back, and we never did apparently.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like, whoa, and a lot of people, they don't believe that. That's fine. John
right,
Lear, he's showed pictures that he's claimed that are undoctored by NASA, and they actually
right.
show alien towers on the moon and weird little buildings and stuff. I've seen these pictures. I don't necessarily see any facilities, but at the same time, I don't really know what to look for either.
Right.
So I am by no means an expert in the field. Not at all. I
Yeah.
just talk about the stuff. That's
Yeah.
it.
Right.
But what do you think about that?
Right.
The that he believes that there really are extraterrestrials on the moon, and if they're on there, what the heck are they doing?
Well, I mean, I mean, how long have they been up there for? For one thing, I mean, those guys have probably been up there, since maybe, I mean, only God knows, man. But for sure, I honestly think there's aliens up there. Me personally, I did
Yeah,
see some pictures. Some of them did resemble buildings, little, like little, um, shoot, even an airstrip. All right, it resembles like an airstrip and whatnot. And again, me too. I'm not an expert. I can kind of see it. I mean, but saying that, I mean, that really is. There's a reason why we don't go up there no more. So I guess he might be right.
yeah. I mean, the
I
fact
think he
that
might
we
be right.
that the fact that we don't go up there, it does give him a little bit of credence, and they still haven't said why we won't go back to the moon. At least NASA
Right.
and the U.S. government has it. I can't speak for other countries, of course,
Right.
but
Right.
what is up with that? That is so weird.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
something else John Lear has said, and this is in regards to technology being more advanced than everyone lets on. And I've mentioned this before. I'm not sure if I actually mentioned this on this podcast or not. I can't remember, but I'll never forget this, and it always makes me go, what if? All right, so Benny, let's say you're invited to a major Hollywood event. You go there and you see Steven Spielberg, you see James Cameron, George Lucas, a couple other celebrities, politicians, whatever. And
Right.
you're sitting there, and on the stage is some guy in a suit. You have no idea who he is, and he's just on stage walking around yapping about whatever. It's boring as God knows what. And all of a sudden, he talks about hollow projections or holograms and, how advanced they can become and this and that. And, you start paying attention now, but you still don't care. And he
Right.
says, he ends it by saying something like, what if that technology is here now and the future as we know it is beginning? And he snaps his fingers and he just disappears. And it
Holy
turns out
snap.
he was just a hologram. He was a hollow projection. All right. So that would blow your mind. It's like, yeah, this was a boring
Uh,
thing until that happened, and then the
So my shit,
realization.
my mind is already blown already.
Yeah.
Like,
So according to John Lear, this actually
right.
happened to him. Like he saw Steven Spielberg there, and the dude was like mesmerized, like, what just happened? And a few years after he said that story, they started to bring out holograms, which is so bizarre. Mind you, when John Lear said this happened, this was maybe 7 years before he actually told the story, and another 4 years before holograms start to come out publicly. And I'm
Right.
watching CNN and they have Will I Am on a hologram and stuff. It's like, what the? This is some Star Wars and Star Trek mess now. And, they're walking around. Then they're doing holograms with freaking Tupac and Michael Jackson. I mean, so I'm like, oh my God, wait a second. Wait,
Yeah.
was he actually right? And if so, did he see this technology before it became mainstream? And if so, does that mean he's like legit right about the alien mess?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, geez, he may have, and then, uh, yeah, I mean, I would have been blown away, dude. Me
Yeah.
sitting there, man, be like, oh my God, like what just happened?
Yeah, and then you
Uh,
see it now. The holograms are everywhere. Like I said, Michael Jackson, Tupac, I think they're doing Elvis next. It's like, how is this
uh,
even possible? Like, what is happening?
yeah, man, yes, wow. I mean, I bet, man, I know if I was there, I would have probably had to ask the person next to me, like, hey, man, did you see that shit? Did you see that? Like, especially the way I am, man, I would have been, whoa, hey, man. Like,
Wait. Hold up. Bring it back a bit. Did that really just
oh
happen?
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, John Lear, I'm gonna look more into you now. But one thing he said that holograms did, which I certainly don't agree with at all, especially after reviewing the video evidence, video evidence, like I'm in court, the video footage of it several times, many times over. He says that 9/11, the planes actually never hit the buildings or anything. They were actually holograms and all that. I'm like, no, John, you may have
yeah,
seen what you saw, but
right,
I can't say that those planes blowing up and crashing was holographic. I mean, for them to be holographic, they would have had. I mean, man, they would have had to be perfect and overly perfect on
right,
everything.
right,
How is that? I mean, don't get me wrong. Anything is possible, but the probability of those planes hitting the buildings and then one being shot down, the probability of that being a hollow projection, I just don't see it.
right,
I do
right,
believe that, I mean, I believe that it was an inside job. I believe the US government did it, and
right.
I believe that those buildings were imploded because if you actually look at the footage, you'll notice that you'll see little explosions, little mini explosions before the buildings actually fall. And it looks like it was an implosion. I mean, like where the planes hit, why would it bring down the entire building like it's a Vegas casino from where they hit and how the steel burns and stuff? If anything, the top part should have fell over, but the whole building implodes? Are you kidding me? What's up with that?
You know, I'm gonna have to relook at the footage. I haven't seen that thing in a while because I mean, I never looked at it closely about the little explosions. I know it did look like it imploded though,
Yeah,
because that thing was just so perfect in mass.
yeah, it was too
And
perfect.
but I'm gonna have to relook at the footage. It's been a while.
Yeah, and
And
then John Lear's theory of the them being hologram, it doesn't explain what happened to Building 17 either. Nothing hit that, and it just decided to collapse on itself.
right.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
So, John Lear, I like you, but I think you're totally off base with the holograms and the planes hitting. And of
Right.
course, that made a lot of people mad,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but whatever.
Uh, yeah, but I'm gonna have to revisit that. Really look at it. I mean, it's been a while, and it's been a while since 9/11 too, right? It seems like yesterday in mass. Should I remember me getting ready for school in mass, and I wake up and I see the first plane. Well, I didn't see the first plane hit. I woke up and the first building had already, you know, got hit by the plane. Then I saw the second plane hit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 16 years, I think.
Wow.
Yep.
Whew.
So it's been a
Jeez.
while. Yeah. So something else with John Lear, which I mentioned earlier that he was good friends with Bob Lazar. Still not gonna exactly talk about Bob Lazar, but he did say that he had one adventure with him where he and Bob were UFO hunting, so to speak, and when they were together, like Bob took him to a spot and he's like, "You're gonna see stuff." It's like, "Really? Okay." Next thing you know, they get a light show going on, and he was like, "Oh wow!" And they were doing some interesting things, like just, I guess fading in, out, flipping around, popping up here, there, everywhere. And John asked him, are those ours or theirs? Meaning, is that terrestrial or extraterrestrial? Apparently, Bob smiled at him and said, "It's theirs," which is kind of scary to think about.
Right.
Anyway, Bob said that, not Bob, but John said that him and Bob had to book it out of there though because they got spotted or something. They saw some lights headed their way, some car lights, and it's like, oh, time to go. So
Oh man.
yeah, but what do you think about that, man, Benny? Would you come with me if I said, hey, you want to see a light show? And I
Hey
take you see?
man.
Would you do it?
Yeah. I totally will. I'm telling you, I've been willing to do this, man, dude. I do plan on going on sky watching. You know.
You know, it's so funny.
Uh,
Folks, he really has been. He wants to do this.
yes,
He,
sky watching. Yeah,
it's like, man, I want to see a UFO, man. I got it. I need confirmation for what I saw.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. But I would go, man. I'll be freaked out as God knows what. But then you know me. I like being freaked out. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're an adrenaline junkie of some sort. I have no
Maybe,
idea.
maybe. Yeah, but yeah, I will definitely go.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
here's the thing, though. If you see them, chances are they see you.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
So
So,
you might get that
yeah.
visit.
Is it the good ones or the bad ones? You know, just,
It depends.
oh man, I don't want those dudes to show up, man, and get me in a headlock and whatnot.
Like, hey, you. Did you see anything? Nope. Okay. I know
I'll
nothing.
probably take my Xbox as evidence. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Man, like, God damn it,
They're
man.
gonna take the One X's evidence.
Man.
You'll get it back when we know you didn't see nothing.
Oh, man.
That
And
was
yourself. And
uh
yourself. Like,
just hit you with the one
oh,
two.
yeah. Yeah, man. But whenever, man. Being serious. Wherever you want to go, man, I'm ready, man.
Yeah,
Ready.
you and Rose can do that. Of course, Rose, she sees them every day pretty much. So she's like, oh yeah, it's nothing too big. They'll pop up here and there. Like, they follow me from time to time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Let's talk about someone who has seen some things and possibly made the ultimate sacrifice because of it. And I am talking about Phil Schneider. Ah, what a name. Phil Schneider. So, Phil Schneider, was an ex-government structural engineer who was involved with building underground military bases across the U.S. And he claims to have been one of only 3 people to survive an incident that occurred in 1979 between gray aliens and U.S. military. Now, this happened I was talking to Benny before this, trying to figure out how to say this right, and I've heard people say it, and I always forget it, but this apparently happened at the Dolce underground military base, which a lot of people have heard about. There's a lot of conspiracies regarding that. I have no opinion on it, but the incident left Schneider with 2 of his fingers gone from his, I think it was his right hand, and a lasting impression, like to where it freaked him out, but he started to speak out about it. And when he first started to speak about it, no one in the mainstream really paid any attention. However, UFOologists and enthusiasts and folks like me heard it, and we were like, "Oh snap! I need to hear more of this. What went down?" So, Benny, Phil Schneider, what do you think?
Um, wow. I mean, Jesus. I mean, it makes you think, man. Would you want to really witness something? Like, would you really want to see all this stuff and mess? And oh my God, poor guy, man. You say he lost his fingers?
Yeah, he lost, I think, his middle and ring finger.
Oh man, he lost one of the most popular fingers of all. Yeah, man, that's really bad, dude. I mean, shoot.
Can't give the one finger salute.
Yeah, he's done for, man. Jeez, I mean, wow. But so is I guess at this point, man. I mean, how is it that they get all these crazy encounters, man? Like, the government does, like only. Can you imagine the stuff they'd be seeing, man? I mean, like,
I try not to.
Jesus Christ! Like, oh man. I mean, I do want to witness them in this, but I wouldn't want to freaking lose my fingers now. God damn it! Like, jeez.
Yeah, well, okay, so how that happened, it was a special moment. Apparently, it wasn't from anything malicious on the aliens' part. It was more of a scared military official who was an idiot. Um, Now, with Phil Schneider, when he spoke about his encounter, he also spoke about government cover-ups and black budgets, which
Right.
I'm definitely not getting into. Forget
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. Leave
But
that alone.
but the incident that occurred that left him missing his fingers, well, he was being escorted by some military personnel, and they were told, whatever you do, like if you encounter the Greys or whatever, don't pull out your gun and don't shoot. The Greys apparently have some type of electromagnetic field or something going around. So think of Magneto from X-Men,
Right.
and if you were to open fire or something, or if it was a threat, that thing will activate and ricochets would happen, and it would be very bad for everyone involved, except for the Greys. They'll be fine. and they ran into some grays. One of the military guys got freaked out. He did exactly what they told him not to do. Bullets flew, backup came, and they started opening fire. And, the Grays are going to defend themselves just like we would defend ourselves. And
Right.
it just everything broke loose.
Uh, how long? How long? When did this happen? Like, when was it? When did this occur? Yeah, because I mean, shoot, can you imagine seeing some? I mean, I wouldn't draw. I wouldn't have draw. I wouldn't have drawn my freaking gun on the guys, though. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah, just
because
listen.
yeah, I'm a bit more open minded in this, but there are people that are jumpy in this. So
Yeah, that's what it was. It was nerves. But yeah, this happened in 1979.
yeah, it was probably just a Yahoo and that's it. He was seeing this and he was like, oh my god, let me. It's just one of those things, and man. I remember one of my sisters, man. She freaking got me, scared the hell out of me. I gave her the elbow, and man, like it's just like it's just like a reflex, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
I
a
don't know.
reaction. You just get
Yeah,
freaked and you're jumpy. You don't know what to do. It's a
yeah,
reaction.
it's a reaction. So I guess I wouldn't have in mass. I mean, shoot. Nah, if they would have came and would have just scared the living crap out of me out of the blue, I would have been like, oh my god, I don't know what I'll do by then. I guess it was just a reaction of the guy, man. Where was it? Whoever was there. But shoot, he lost both of his fingers, man. Oh man, oh, jeez, that's terrible. Oh my god.
Now, according to Phil, he claims that 66 Secret Service agents, FBI, Black Berets, and a few others similar died in that fight that broke out. What do you think about that?
66, eh?
That's what he claimed. It was 66, and he's one of the only survivors talking about it.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of officials, man. 66.
Now, he
Oh,
also claims that since the early 1940s, there has been 129 bases, underground bases, that have been created since the 1940s.
1940.
That's what he claims. Now, the thing is, when they asked if he could prove it or take them to one of the take the interviewers or people skeptics to one of the
Uh,
bases to prove his claims, he either didn't want to do it or he couldn't. It was something there, but I don't know. I believe the guy to a certain extent.
yes.
I don't think he's trying to put one over on anyone. I do believe him
Right.
to a certain extent. And according to him, he said that they use some type of laser drilling that can carve several miles in a day, and that the bases are usually the depth is usually over a mile. And he said that they're like entire cities underground.
I believe so.
That's pretty wicked, if that's the
I,
case.
I believe so. I believe so, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I got a theory, man. There's a reason why we can't go. We haven't been really able to, explore, you know, the Pacific Ocean all the way through it, man. So, I mean, this is just a theory of mine, man. But there's probably some folks down there too in this.
Maybe,
So,
man. You never
I mean,
know.
I mean, I mean, we, but can you picture how dark it is down there, though? Yeah, man.
So,
I mean,
and one other thing that I omitted, that was my mistake. Phil,
right.
he claimed that he was shot in the chest with one of their weapons.
Ooh.
And he said it came from a box on their body and it blew a hole in him and gave him a nasty dose of cobalt radiation. And he had cancer because of that. Now, while it does seem like it's unbelievable and everything, I've seen a picture of that's supposed to be him with the shirt lifted up and everything. And let me tell you, there is a deep crevice there that should not be there. And it's scar tissue and everything. It's like, whoa, wait a second. Something happened to this guy.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, like I said, I believe him to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And him getting shot in the chest,
Right.
that's one of the things I believe, only because well, if the photo's real and it's actually him and not doctored, I mean, it was pretty freaking convincing.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. Jesus Christ. Wow. I'm gonna have to look more into this guy and see
Yeah.
what's going on, man. Because um, I wonder how bad that thing hurt though.
Oh gosh, it would.
Uh, oh, I can only imagine that.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
No, I don't. Again, I do want to experience them, man, but yeah,
Not like that.
let's do it in a peaceful manner. You know, let's do it.
Now, the one of the most interesting things that gives Phil a lot of credit is on in May 1995, he did a lecture and he said that he was afraid that because he's speaking out and talking about this, that he's going to be killed by certain entities. And he said that I'm not suicidal. I'm not depressed or anything like that. Don't believe that mess. And, just that's all I could say on that. And of
Right.
course, 7 months later, he was found apparently tortured and killed. But the official report said he killed himself by hanging himself, even though he had a bad hand, and it would have been literally impossible for him to tie the noose around his neck and all that stuff. So,
Right.
but it's like, whoa, wait a second. It makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's one of the reasons why I am yeah, I don't like getting too deep.
Yeah, you're not trying to prove anything. You're not trying to
Oh, I'm not
speak out.
trying. I'm not trying. Oh no. Yeah, but oh my God, and it also takes courage to do that, man. Knowing that this could potentially end your life.
Yep.
I mean,
Or
yeah, it
someone
took a lot of
else's
courage.
life. Yeah.
Either or, right?
So
But geez, I mean,
it's a
it took a lot
scary
of
thing.
courage in that. Yeah. Jeez, that's terrible. Yeah, that's really terrible.
Hey, are you familiar with Billy Meyer?
No, no, I ain't.
That's a
No, I'm
good
not.
thing. No, no, honestly, it's a good thing. This guy has to be the biggest fake ever. And I don't know why. I really don't know why he has a following, but he does. And this guy, he's from Switzerland, and he claimed to have had not only a UFO encounter, but he took pictures of the UFO and its occupants, who were two pretty darn good looking women.
Yeah,
And it's like, wow, really? And I should have linked you the pictures and stuff, so you can actually see how ridiculous this actually is. But oh well, that was my mistake. It's just such a joke, man. This guy, he is the biggest fake. But like I said, he has a following, and he claimed that the women were, where were they from? Uh, Something I can't pronounce. Plagiarin or something. Plejaren. And they gave him permission to photograph and film their beam ships. so that he can produce evidence of their extraterrestrial visitation.
Um,
And some of the photos that Myers has, he said that they show, or yeah, he says that they show prehistoric Earth, extraterrestrials, and a few other celestial objects.
right.
However, scientists, skeptics, of course, and even UFOologists, they're all pretty much in agreement that the stuff is fake, and it just makes everyone look bad who's trying to prove that extraterrestrials exist. Like, it's ridiculous. And in 1997, his ex-wife actually told people that the photos were spaceship models he created from trash can lids and carpet and other household objects. And
Yeah,
that,
that's bad.
yeah, and that any adventures he said he had with the aliens were, they were all fake. They're fictitious. They're not real. And then, oh yes, and then one of my favorite, the photos with the two women, Asket and Nira, were photos of two women from a singing and dance troupe called the Gold Diggers. And it was the two women are Michelle Delafave and Susan Lund.
Man.
And
Yeah.
Delafave and Lund, they actually admitted that they were the women in the photos and stuff. They faked it, whatever. They got paid.
Oh my God.
So Billy
Yeah.
Meyer, but no, here's the thing: people believe this guy. Like they say he's legit, and it's like, no, he is not. And they're like, oh, it's a government. You're brainwashed by the government, and he's real. It's like, you can look at these pictures and see it's fake.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the size of the UFO and look at the tree.
Jesus. God.
So yeah, this guy, man. Okay, so Benny, I know how you are. What would you do if you encountered a fake like that?
And well, look, man. People like them do make the UFO community look bad, dude. Like extremely bad. I mean, I, I will get on this case, man. I will get on this case and call them out, man, and just call them out, man. I will call them out and just like how to a trash can lid, carpet, a carpet. What did he put? Did he utilize the carpet in the freaking UFO? Where did he put the carpet in?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Hey, man. But you say you got a pretty nice legion going, right?
Yeah, he has followers. It's almost
Oh,
like,
man.
I mean, think of Scientology, but on a much smaller scale, where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what is wrong with you people? Why are you in
Yeah.
this? So that's what it's
Like
like.
like the bad, like yeah, okay. So kind of like Zoltan from freaking
Oh, dude,
Do
where's
As We
my
Walk,
car? Yes.
right? Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like, are you
Yeah,
kidding?
that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So it's like, come on, how can you believe Billy Meyer? And and this actually hurts one of the next people I'm going to talk about, and his name is David Icke. And David Icke, I believe he actually, or was it John Lear? Oh, wait a second, I'm getting my guys mixed up. I think it was John Lear who believes that Billy Meyer, his story is legit. And it's like, John, are you serious, man? Get out of here. So, not David Icke. Yeah. All right. So, David Icke, man, David Icke, he's one of those guys who's so intelligent and brilliant. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, he just comes off as so crazy. And it's like, and it's very weird because he talks about interdimensional travel and interdimensional aliens, not necessarily extraterrestrial. And when you get into that type of type of talk, it's confusing but interesting at the same time. And you want to hear more about it. And he's brought forth some interesting theories. And he spoke about the hollow Earth or the moon being hollow and things of that nature. But he loses it all when he starts saying publicly that the royal family, the British royal family, are reptilians, lizard people. Now, I can't confirm nor deny that they are or are not lizard people, but at the same time, how he presents it, it makes people just laugh at him, no matter
Yeah,
what type of
yeah,
proof he has. You know,
exactly, man. Sometimes you might want to. I mean, yeah,
you have to know when to dial
yeah,
it back.
right.
You know, like Benny, I come up to you. I have all the proof in the world, and I can't even show it to you yet because I'm speaking to you, and I'm like, "Hey, man, the royal family, they're lizard people, and George W. Bush, he's a dog man. All right, get that? He's a dog man." And it's like, would you listen to me?
But then there's a lot of freaky stuff going out there, man. And then the way I think, man, I believe in it. Well,
Yeah, so
I
it's
mean,
like,
there's a,
well, maybe.
maybe, but if you yeah, there's people out there that's just the way they express this stuff, that makes it seem bad.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like that guy, I think he went out like he would have. It would have been better if he'd done it like. Well, you seen Jim Carrey, right?
Oh
See what
boy.
happened to Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Jim Carrey, man. I mean, yeah. Nah, but I mean, poor Jim Carrey, man. I'm gonna have to look more into him, man. But he was accusing Donald Trump of being a lizard man himself. Which I doubt. No way. There's no way Donald Trump is a lizard guy, man. Donald Trump, man. Oh man, Melvin, what do you think about this?
I think he should take a break from Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, would you honestly think Trump is
No.
lizard man?
No.
From what I hear, they're pretty smart, and I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. That's all I'm gonna say. Just no.
No, me too, man. All right. Let's keep politics out of this, but I say no. I say no.
Now, David Icke, though, he has spoken about some interesting things, such as these beings called the Nephilim, and they were apparently the sons of God, and they were supposed to be the angels originally. And when man came along and man started to procreate and have kids and stuff like that, the Nephilim saw the daughters of man, and they were like, "Whoa, they're good looking," and they got it on with. They're like, "We want that." And apparently, the Nephilim are the heroes of old, as he says. So think of your mythological heroes, such as like Hercules, or yeah, think Gilgamesh, maybe Horus or Achilles, possibly. So think of them, and it was like, okay, and apparently this idea was created by the idea that the Draco, or lizards with wings, for the most part, they came here and set themselves up to be gods. Like man originally thought they were gods and such, and they were interbreeding with humans to create a superior bloodline. So something like that. I don't exactly know what happens after that, but it's something to look into. So the Nephilim, uh, being the sons of gods, and the daughters of men mating the bloodline, which allegedly ties into the Illuminati, which is a whole nother subject, and so on and so forth.
Like I never told you this weird dream I had. Like a while, I'll never forget this dream I had in this, right? Like no, this was a wild. Like this is one of the dreams, man. I don't know if you had one of those dreams where you'll never forget it in this. I was like, man, I remember this dream. You remember parts of it, but it's still there. You know, and in this dream, I was dreaming, right? Well, of course I was dreaming. I was asleep, duh. But anyway, in this dream, I was seeing visions and that stuff, angels and aliens having an all-out war, right? In which I know it's crazy, man, but for whatever reason, I can never dream a decent dream, man. I just get these crazy dreams, man. Like they're crazy. I can never dream a straight dream,
Yeah.
They're crazy. And in this dream, the aliens were able to overcome the angels in this. And I was just woke up the next day and I'm like, oh my god, man, like I was freaked out because remember I was raised Catholic, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's
And
true.
me being a little kid, I was like, oh my god, what the hell just happened? You know. So yeah, just it's one of those crazy dreams. Since you were talking about, the Nephilim and aliens. Yeah,
That's pretty weird, Benny.
yeah, I can never have a straight dream. You know.
Gosh.
Yeah,
What's going on there?
yeah, it's crazy. It's
Right. Now, one of the things that make David Icke even more interesting is he had an interview with one of the maids to Princess Diana. And according to the maid, this is all hearsay. This is like, well, I saw, and this is what she told me, so I'm telling you, and you tell us. Anyway, according to the maid, Diana was totally like she did not like the queen, and apparently one day she was walking around somewhere and she walked into the room and she saw the queen changing, not changing clothes but changing skin or something, and she
right.
saw what she truly looked like, which was a type of humanoid reptile.
Ooh,
And this freaked her out, but Diana kept the secret, but she still didn't like the queen. And when she was going to go public was when they decided to execute her. Like, the maid claims that Diana knew what was coming. She didn't like the queen didn't like her. She knew their secret, and she feared that she was going to get killed in some way, and she did. Like,
right.
and people, they still question how the heck did her bodyguard survive? And the other thing that people question is the car that she was in. It had a history of bizarre accidents and failures. And it just so happened when when the car accident occurred, it was in a part of the town where there weren't any cameras. So they couldn't actually capture it on footage to see what exactly went wrong. Yeah, so it's like what the, but yeah, this is what the maid told David Icke, and David
Yeah,
Icke wrote about it. He talks about it, and he says that the reptilians were here first, but they were forced underground, and they're upset, and they're slowly retaking the world back, and like, because the earth is hollow and they live somewhere in underground in Antarctica, because underneath all that ice is actually an oasis of some type,
right.
and they're just putting things into position and for all out war and all that stuff, which I find David Icke very interesting. I think he's on to some things when it comes to interdimensional uh, travel or beings, whatever.
Right.
But I just think he's totally off base when it comes to reptilians wanting this world back if they were here first or whatever. I mean, come on, like, if their technology is so great and if they truly wanted it, don't you think they could have just taken it by now? Like, just like that, just whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah. No
and
problem.
that's the same that goes with extraterrestrials like the Greys or whatever. People say that they're gonna start a war and take the planet or whatever. Like, if they really wanted to, because their technology is so advanced, they could
Oh
have done
yeah,
it 10 times over. Why would you wait until a species gets more advanced as time goes on and will probably put up a little bit of a fight?
right.
Like, dude, man, you take things when it's at its easiest and most convenient. You don't do
Right.
it like later, like let them grow something. Like you don't do that,
Yeah. You know.
And
Yep.
then I believe he also spoke about that. Oh no, 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 this was John Lear who actually spoke about this one. Sorry, folks, I know we're going all over the place, but
Right.
deal with it. I think this was John Lear who spoke, and it's not just John Lear, it's several people, but they talk about that Eisenhower and I'm sorry, I'm trying to. Yeah, okay, so I looked at my notes real quick. Eisenhower was interrupted by his vacation, on his vacation in Palm Springs, and he went to an Air Force base and he met two extraterrestrial aliens and they made a deal with them. Apparently, like, we'll give you a little bit of technology, but in return, we can take people and experiment on them or whatever.
Right.
And truth of the matter is, if it did happen, it's not really a deal because they would have done whatever they wanted regardless. It's not like we can
Regardless.
actually stop them. They were just being courteous if that is the case. And
Right.
Eisenhower said, "Yeah, sure, do what you must, and we'll take that
Right.
technology."
Right.
So I don't know how I don't think that's actually real, but it does
Right.
beg the question, why do they take people? Like if it's not if it isn't government involvement somewhere, why do aliens take people?
I mean, is it still going on right now? I know back. Yeah, I know back in the day that thing was widespread. Like, man, that was bad. Well, but I mean, maybe to, I mean, study up on us and man.
That's
Stop.
what common sense would say. It's just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
learn about
stop.
us.
Yeah, and then not only that, but we're also evolving. As time goes by, man.
Yeah.
So they have to keep researching us and see how we're coming along, and they're. I'm pretty sure we want to know more about them too. So I know it's pretty much vice versa.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I mean
So I mean,
it's just weird, but one person did say, not one person, but someone I speak to every now and then, who is a experiencer. She said that if you notice, the horror stories have cut down tremendously, and it's mostly because they've learned what we like and what we don't like, and
I
that
agree.
has yeah, that has helped things tremendously, but there are still some beings that they just don't care. They just want to do their job and get it done and over with. And that's funny. Like, let's think about that for a second when it comes to aliens and that whole thing. I guess if they're part of a civilization, I mean, I suppose they would have jobs and stuff,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like when you just get tired and annoyed, it's like come on, let's just do this and go home. And perhaps
right,
like we don't think like that because we as people we find them so mysterious and so advanced that we look at them almost
right,
like a type of mystic instead
right,
of just someone like us, just terribly more
yeah,
advanced.
right,
And sometimes Johnny just doesn't want to do the job right. I mean, he just doesn't
right.
take the stuff. He just doesn't care. He just wants to go home. So, okay, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here. Uh, Benny, if okay, so yeah, let's close it with this. What would you do if you went outside right now and you saw a UFO?
Oh man, man, I'll just be shocked, man. I'll try to get it on video, man, and I'll shut up. I'll probably show you the mess, and that's it. That's it. I don't want the knock on the door, dude. But I do honestly. I one day when if I'm healthy enough to experience, I would want to experience one day. You know what I mean? Just yeah, just and then just everything goes smooth, man. I don't want to end up there in mass. I don't want to. No, just
You don't want to
I
end
do.
up.
Yeah, man. So yeah, but I would honestly like to experience. No,
Okay, and if you can ask an alien one question, what would it be?
shoot, is there another planet just like this?
That's what
You
you would
know, just like
ask?
yes. With the man, in order, yeah, man. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, there are Earth-like planets, but are we able to, get in there and I mean, just land in that planet and just live on it in us, or are there more human-like beings like us out there in this?
Yeah, that's
Human-like, yeah,
that's a good one too.
yeah, human-like beings. So yeah,
Because
that's one of
for
those
some
questions I want.
reason, like I don't know why this is. I've asked this question before and I've never seemed to get an answer, but the human-like aliens that they show, like the Andromedans or the Pleiadians or Nords, whatever, they all seem to be. Well, excuse me, I take that back. I think Pleiadians are actually blue, but the other ones, they all seem to be white and blue-eyed, blonde hair.
Right?
Hitler would be so pleased.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, he would.
I mean, it's so
Uh,
weird. It's like, really? Why is this? Where are. But then, like I said, the Pleiadians are blue, so I guess that answers that question. Like, where are the colored
Yeah,
aliens? So, yeah, there you go. They're blue.
yeah, man. So I would really like to know that. Can you imagine? Like, that would be. I would like to know that.
Yeah,
Because there are a lot of Earth-like planets out there. We just there's no way we're gonna reach them.
yeah,
Not now.
yeah, yeah.
So that would be nice, man. And then, oh my, oh, I don't know. That's what I would want to know. You
Okay,
know,
and
I know there's, to know if there's, more beings that are just like that, like us out there. And just, that's pretty much it, man. That intrigues me. Because I know there's Earth-like planets out there, so I don't know why I get the sense they are. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. All right, and last one, and you'll probably chuckle at this because I know how you are. If you
Yeah.
could sleep with an alien, would you? There it
Are you being serious, man?
is. That's a serious question. It doesn't
Where
necessarily
she
have
look?
to. Yeah, there it is. Does she look good?
Yeah, does she look? I mean, shoot. I don't really. I mean, I guess if she, fits my eyeballs, yeah. Like, I
You
think,
don't
yeah.
discriminate.
I'm not racist, man. You know that. I did say she could be from the other planet as long as she fits my eyes, man.
And I
Yeah,
think, yeah, what was that? You definitely would.
yeah. I mean, shoot. I mean, they are. They're which species is this? The Nord? What, the Nordic?
Yeah, those are humanoid, and then yeah,
Right.
Pleiadians, and apparently
See,
reptilians can shapeshift. So I mean, they
I
could
don't know
be
about a
whoever you
reptilian
want.
though. I don't know about a reptilian, man. That'd be kind of weird though. Yeah, man. But what about you, Melvin? Would you?
And on that note, that's a good spot to end it. Benny, thanks a
Oh,
lot for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Like, man, time just flew.
oh, I did.
So thank you, like, for filling in for Nima and coming on. Just having the talk with us. Super appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
be sure to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. Also, pay extra attention because there is a $25 Amazon gift card contest going on. So, with that said, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them how they. Bye, everybody.